And for more on the race, let's turn to CBS News chief political correspondent Jan Crawford. She is in our Washington bureau. Jan, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Russ.
Let's talk about the CBS News poll, some of the latest results. Now, voters said that President Obama has worked hard to bring change, but when asked if the president made progress fixing the economy, 68% said no, 28% said yes. And when asked if the president deserves to be reelected, the majority, 54%, said no. Not great numbers for the president. Jan, less than a year before Election Day, how concerned should the White House be about this?
Well, I mean, they sure aren't going to make President Obama smile. I mean, it cannot come as a surprise, though, Russ. His approval ratings have been low for months and months, especially on that key issue of the economy. But the thing is, he's not turning these numbers around. And no president since Truman, and that's back in 1948, has been reelected with approval ratings that low. And that was before we were born, Russ. But here's a really bad number for the president. 75% of the people we talked to said America is in the wrong direction. That is a very troubling sign for this White House, a very troubling sign for the president.
Well, it's interesting. Despite these negative numbers, the president still leads the leading Republican contenders, Mitt Romney and Newt Gingrich, in head-to-head matchups in a nationwide poll. In some states, I think Romney is ahead. But what does that tell you?
Well, you know, again, I mean, that is not great news for the president, even though it sounds good, because we haven't even had a real head-to-head matchup. The president is out there on the kind of stump already, going to these key states, pushing his policies. He's had this bully pulpit of sorts, and yet 2/3 of the people say they have no idea what he wants to accomplish in a second term. He's been out there, kind of his campaign has been slamming Mitt Romney, you know, every which way till Sunday, but still the voters are saying that they don't think the president is doing that good of a job. And when there is a Republican nominee, we actually have a Republican nominee, then you're going to get that head-to-head matchup, and that's a real candidate, and that could even be more problems for the president.
Let me ask you about Rick Perry. A couple of more flubs this week. Let's take a look at one.
Whether it was Montemayor.
Sonia Sotomayor.
Sotomayor and Kagan are both activist judges.
So if he forgets the names of one of the Supreme Court justices, he also said there are 8 justices instead of 9. At this point, what do these types of gaffes do to his campaign?
Well, I mean, Russ, I mean, what they tell you is that his campaign is on life support. I mean, what they tell you is, what this means is, when you go to states like Alabama, my great home state, you ask people about Rick Perry, and they'll say, you know, he just hadn't got it. I mean, that's what this is translating into. And at a time when voters think America has serious problems and they want a candidate who can fix it, who can debate, who can beat Barack Obama. And all of these gaffes have translated in plummeting poll numbers for Rick Perry. He is trying to turn it around in Iowa. He is asking voters to give him a second look. But these kind of things, like we saw yesterday, and listen to this, he has a case before the Supreme Court right now. His state does. Not good news for Rick Perry.
Jan Crawford, born many years after 1948. As always.
You too.
That's true. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thanks.